A lot to talk about today. We're going to start with the story we broke on the website early this morning. There was a home invasion in a very fancy area of Los Angeles, in Truesdale Estates, which is part of Beverly Hills. And the person who broke into the house, at least one, shot and killed the wife of a legendary music executive known as the Godfather of black music.
Clarence Avant is the man you're referring to, and his wife, sadly now deceased, Jacqueline Avant, who was shot and killed when this intruder broke into their home around 2:30 this morning. Shortly before 2:30, there was a call that went to Beverly Hills police at 2:30 reporting that someone had been shot at their home.
And by the time the police got there, she had already been rushed to the hospital. She did not survive. He is okay, but there are so many questions here. We know that at least one person got in via a smashed window. They smashed a window. These are one-story houses in Truesdale Estates. So they smashed a window, got right into the house. We don't know yet how this intruder came face to face with Jacqueline, and whether she confronted him or what. These are elderly people in the house. So we don't know how this all transpired. We do know that this person shot and killed her and then apparently fled. So they are still looking for these people who did this. I was told by law enforcement that there has been a lot of gang activity in this area where there have been break-ins like this, not where somebody is shot and killed, but there have been break-ins, and it's something that they're dealing with right now. So again, this is just all part of what's going on in Los Angeles, which is, we're having terrible problems here now, but this is a huge tragedy. Tragedy for the music world, tragedy for, the community, because they were very deeply involved in charity in the community as well.
Yeah, involved in also, Clarence Avant and Jacqueline go way back into the civil rights era. They were very active in civil rights. Clarence is a man who's referred to as sort of the touchstone for all things in entertainment, certainly in black culture and in American culture altogether. He was inducted just a couple of months ago into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's, as you see, frequently celebrated. Yeah, he's frequently celebrated by the likes of Diddy and Jay-Z, Babyface, Quincy Jones, Tyler Perry. These are people who have relied on Jamie Foxx, people who have relied on Clarence Avant. His daughter, by the way, he and Jacqueline have a daughter who is married to Ted Sarandos, the CEO of Netflix. So they are ingrained in everything in Hollywood, and so this is a huge, huge tragedy for the community, and we're just trying to find out more about what happened here. One other thing that I don't think we mentioned yet is that we know that there were security guards there on the premises.
Charles, we did learn there were security, and the suspect shot at the security. Security did not shoot back. It's unknown if the security was armed or not at the time, but that's something that's becoming more common. People are hiring private security. We've seen so many follow-home robberies around LA. This is just becoming a real issue.
Dennis, I'm a little confused at something. Was this their personal security, or was this security that was patrolling the neighborhood?
It's kind of unclear about that, but they were definitely on the property and they were shot at, and like I said, it's unclear, but again, I don't know if they were armed
the reason I'm asking, Dennis, is it is interesting. This is, I can't explain how exclusive this neighborhood is. It's littered with celebrities all over the place. It's very expensive, and these are elderly people. I think she was 81. He is in his early 90s. And so, it's just interesting to me if they had personal security, you gotta wonder why.
I mean, these areas, I know people that do actually armed security in some of these areas. They have their own patrol. Certain of these people have their own security at their own house. So I wouldn't be surprised. There's security on top of security. You're right. There is so much money in these neighborhoods. It's just a target waiting to happen.
Unfortunately, yeah, that like Harvey, what you had heard about these the gangs in that area, it's not a secret about who lives in Truesdale and what kind of wealth is up there. So
by the way, you guys saw on Rodeo Drive they've had smash and grab. So crime is up in Beverly Hills.
Crime's terrible in this city.
And Beverly Hills has gotten hit really hard.
We are, I was talking to somebody today who actually called me. one of these people you're talking about, and was just, just saying this. LA is like New York was in the 80s now. It's just gotten really difficult and tragic.
My name's Rob Miller, and I'm from Manhattan. You were talking about New York earlier, area crime. I mean, it's so sad to hear about the Avants. The Godfather was just inducted in the Hall of Fame. I mean, and to see his wife be killed in that way, it reminds you of those smash and grabs, that ring that happened in Beverly Hills, a few years ago. And I mean, she was involved in charity work on the board. I mean, I'm a musician myself, so I knew he worked with Freddie, Hubbard, Vaughn, and I mean, just a lifetime of helping out the community and also helping out artists. So it's so sad to hear. Just so sad to hear.
And I will say that I talked to somebody connected with the family a few minutes ago, and they said he is very fragile and obviously beside himself, and they're worried about him, as you can imagine.
He is so beloved in this town. There will be any number of people rallying around him, but still, it's this is a kind of tragedy that I don't know how he.
It's hard to recover from something like this, obviously. Okay, we're